My name is Riley. I go by Riley A. Polek-Davis. On Instagram, my name is @GanjaKitty. When I think of my work, I think of my work as a celebration of women, and that's the energy I really want to put out into the world. I think my purpose is to really just honor who I am, where I've come from. You know, I come from like a wolf pack of women, raised by women. That's just who I am. Throughout my life, I really want that to translate in my work. So my purpose, as I also figure out myself, but a really strong thing for me is to celebrate womanhood. For me, my whole life, like growing up, so I'm a science tube baby, and I'm like raised through artificial insemination. I grew up in the LGBTQIA+ community, and for me, I would just be like, oh, I make art as a celebration of women. But when my teachers push me a little bit further, but they're like, why? And for me, it's like I have 3 moms that raised me my whole life, who have taught me everything: how to love, how to hustle, how to like really stay grounded. And I feel like that's really where the root of my art comes from. For me, I see things in colors. I had a actually like serious brain injury when I was a child. And it kind of, I feel like my whole family says that like when I cracked my head open, it's more like all this colorful gorgeousness came in to me. And that's what we're gonna go with on that. And like when I see people, I see colors. So it goes from seeing someone being like, let's make art together, shooting that person, because I also love the whole physical moment of creating art with someone. I want you to move your body like this. And I have all these very specific ideas because I'm a very detail-oriented person. But then my favorite thing in the world is when someone gives me themselves and they just go off. I'll be like, I want you to do this. This is my vision for you. And sometimes it goes like that, but then sometimes I work with someone that blows me out of the water. And that's when my art hits the hardest, I feel like. It's a collaborative experience between me and someone I want to work with. But moving into this next phase of my life, I want to be way more inclusive. I want to be painting like women I grew up with, or my mom's friends and things of that nature, and really just bringing in this whole dynamic of where I'm from, where I'm at, and where I really am trying to go. So I found out I was passionate about my talents once I just never stopped. It just became my everyday everything. When I wake up, that's what I think about. When I go to sleep, that's what I think about before I go to sleep. And then on a loop. And it just happens to you. You're like, I love this. So I feel like that's how I kind of fell in love and figured that this was my passion. I never imagined it, but when it started happening, I just hopped on right away. And, you know, it started with the little things. It started with my own kind of practice, my own little private practice. Then I would like go to music events and stuff like that and see people live painting. And I'm like, I think I could do that. So I kind of just applied, went for it. And then it snowballed from there. And then it just became my life, doing art, painting, selling art. When I'm painting, I feel like I'm not worried about all the other things. You know, we have so much going on in our mind and our thoughts and all these issues here and there. And when I get into my painting zone, that kind of all fades away for a little bit. And I kind of just get into this natural form of creativeness, rather than thinking of all these worries that go on. Time totally stops when we go somewhere else. So time is moving, but maybe slower. I could paint for like 8 hours and come out of this very weird body of myself. I'm like, wow, it's been 8 hours. I haven't eaten food. I haven't done anything. I don't talk to no one. Don't look at my phone, anything like that. It's just, I'm elsewhere, but in the corner of my room. About making my art my career, it was just, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not working a 9 to 5, period. This is what I want to do. I'm not doing anything that's not art-based. And I went into it with that mentality. This is what we're doing, me, myself, and I. Was it a hard decision committing to really flowing with my art and being like, this is what I'm going to pay my bills and stuff? No. I think the hardest part has been balancing work and play and organicness and paying bills. But I think the hardest thing is, as an artist, is sometimes I go through waves. Like I could be doing really well, and then sometimes I could be not doing as well as I want. And I feel like that would be what I struggle with and what's hard, doing art. I mean, you gotta hustle constantly. That's what it is. If you like feel like you need a mental health break, like you can take a mental health break, but like you're not going to be making as much money. And that's where I guess what would be hard for me in this game of doing art. As an artist, I survived by doing multiple things at once. So I was teaching, I was live painting, and I was selling my own work. Like I said, sometimes I could do really well selling my own work, but if I'm a little bit slower, I have a teaching job where I'm teaching art. So that's a constant flow of income coming in. And then also I work festivals. Festivals is like a big surplus of money for me. It depends on what event I'm working, but I'm live painting. So I can like sell the original there maybe, or I'm like selling prints for a week or whatever. So I think doing multiple things at once, but all in the field of what I love and what I'm doing has kept me sustainable in my life. Eric. Me having a strong belief in myself as an artist comes from me having a strong belief within myself. I'm very confident in a way that I've built up. I feel like a sort of self-confidence and self-love is very crucial in life. And I know it's hard to do, but I feel happier being strong within myself than doubting myself. I don't got time to be doubting myself, to be like this, what about this, what about that? Like I don't got time for that. So going into things with that kind of energy has really helped me progress profoundly in life. My greatest inspirations in life, so it all started with Salvador Dali, period. That's where it started. Like I just fell in love with art for my first time. My favorite painting in the world is swans reflecting elephants. Swans reflecting elephants. And then there's like Alphonse Mucha, who's a very like old school Art Nouveau kind of realm for me. And then I go into now it would be James Jean. James Jean is my life. I love him. So those are like artists that I know and exist or have existed that I love. There's two, like Salvador Dali and Alphonse Mucha were inspired me to look at art. I'm like, this is amazing. My feeling getting into my first show, I would probably want to boil it down to like 2 events. And I felt really sick before both of them. Nervously sick. I feel like people may think that it's like the most exciting. I was sick to my stomach. There's some times where I feel like I wish I could show some stuff and not be there. Or maybe like be behind a curtain or in an invisibility cloak where no one can see me. But then I have all my people. What helps me is my people, are my friends and my loved ones that show up. And that changes everything. Because I could be in my head thinking all this crazy shit. And then I have friends there that are just like, why are you tripping? I'm like, I couldn't even tell you. Yeah. I don't trip over anything. Totally. Let's take that with a grain of salt. My first piece getting into a gallery was just hustling. Like I went on a Craigslist and I'm like maybe early 20s or something. I found this thing called Chocolate and Art. Chocolate and Art is amazing. They do it's a collective art show. And I found it on Craigslist and I applied and I got accepted. And I had really big pieces. So my big piece got into like I want to say like a very influential spot at this gallery. So I was the first one. Then I had, with other gallery shows, I had a girlfriend that like worked at a gallery and was like, this is what I want, pull up. And those are the 2 ones I got sick. Because they were the most amazing and scary. They were the most amazing. So one was just through applying via Craigslist. So that's what I also like want to put out to anywhere. Like people are like, how did you get here? I'm like, yo, you gotta hustle. I went through Craigslist for a lot of things, through work, through applying for galleries. Like I'm doing it all me. You gotta really like put yourself out there. Advice or tips I would have for anyone trying to even do them with art is to be yourself. To be yourself. Don't try to be anyone you're not. Don't fucking cop other people's work. And to hustle. I know I keep saying that, but you gotta put the work in. Things aren't just handed to you on a little silver platter, unless you got connections. I don't know about you, but it's to really hustle. And not to be afraid and not be shy and to create a lot of art. If you want to be seen, and if this is what you want, you've got to put the effort in. I feel like there's so much the world is so different now with social media and how easily people can be found. But for like oil painters or live paint, you know, we got to put in a lot of work still and do that. You got to work hard. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your work, hopefully you make it. And that's what I got for you. So as an artist, spirituality has played into my work as in a way, I think finding little pieces of you that you're not like really comfortable with or don't really know previously is a spiritual practice within itself. So I think discovering who I am through art is a fundamental spiritual experience for me. When I struggle with creating art, I need to really just sit with myself. What do I do? What am I trying to do? If I'm trying to be anyone else, that's not gonna work for me. If I'm trying to like go out for something else or a different style or different blah blah, different medium, like, and if it's not me, it's not me. And that's an important thing that I've learned. There's been times where I've tried to adjust. Like, what does the world want from me? What does this want from me? And I didn't get there on that. I got here on doing me. And holding on to that is probably the most important thing that I need to focus on, because I've been struggling with that. It's like, what do I want to do? And then there's so many things like, oh, this is what's hot right now. This is what's whatever right now. And I've never been that person that's like thinking about that. And then I got really confused. I keep saying this, but I got really confused in this past year of my life. There's been a lot of self-searching more than self-discovery, because it's like, I need to tap back in with myself. But I'm a little bit exhausted from the experience of where am I at right now. And I don't mean exhausting. I just mean like, when it's all of you and your heart and soul, and you're being like questioned on it and like being pushed to move forward. That's all I've ever wanted. That's why I signed up for grad school. That's why I like have been in this game for a long time. I think moving myself through this is the biggest learning lesson I've had in a long time with art. I think that one of the things I really want to communicate to everyone is that this past year has been, one, super draining and super traumatic. So much I can't even put into words. And how do we really bounce back after being isolated for like a year or so? And like, how are we gonna move forward? I know that there's been so many people that have moved and worked through COVID in their own ways, but fully stepping back into what life was, it's going to be a really like sensitive and delicate experience for everyone. And I feel that, and I want everyone to take a deep breath and just do their best, because that's what I'm doing. Trying to breathe, trying to do it. I have issues getting back into this, and I just feel like we're not alone. I feel like we need to, once we step back into life, it'll be like a really gorgeous, beautiful painting that we can all kind of collaborate on.